Hello, everyone. Please pause for a moment before we begin. This is not just another video with money advice. This is not about theories or motivational sayings. This is about you, your own future, your past mistakes, and your patterns. It is about the unseen habits that silently keep you poor. Most people never even see it happening. They work very hard. They keep themselves busy. They manage to survive. But they continue to struggle. They remain stuck in one place. They fail to grow. And with each passing year, the distance widens. The gap between their current self and potential self grows. You desire to be wealthy. You desire freedom. You want to feel in control of your own life. Then, stop running and start to listen. In this video, I will reveal the true reasons people stay broke. These are not the lessons taught in school. They are not the tips that become popular online. These are the real, ugly, and brutal truths. The truths that keep people trapped their entire lives. You will recognize yourself in these habits. You might not enjoy what you see, but you will never forget it. Because once the truth is seen, it cannot be unseen. And that is the point where everything starts to change. This video is more than just powerful. It is also a secret weapon for your English. You are learning lessons that can change your life. You are also training your ears, brain, and voice. You will learn to speak better English much faster. So with every second you watch, you grow stronger. Stronger in your life and in your language skills. Let's get started. Habit 1. Waiting for the perfect time. More dreams have been destroyed by this habit than by poverty. You tell yourself things like this. I will start when I am truly ready. I will invest when my finances are better. I will work on my side business next month. This just isn't the right time. But the reality is simple. A perfect time does not exist. It has never existed, and it never will. Waiting is just the mind's way of hiding fear. It feels like a safe choice. It can even feel like a smart choice. But it is fear that is disguised as logic. And fear dressed as logic is the most dangerous fear. People wait for the right feeling, or the right age, or the right chance to appear. But while they are busy waiting, time is their enemy. The world does not stop for you. Your potential will not wait around forever. It fades away quietly, while you are saying to yourself, I will do it later. For instance, a man named Alex had a dream. He wanted to launch a business, but he just waited and waited. 10 years passed. He was still in the same job, earning the same pay. He was hating his life. But now he had more responsibility, and more fear, and much less energy. His dream was not killed by failure. It was killed by hesitation. You must understand this point. Success does not arrive when you are ready. It arrives when you take action, even if you are terrified. The winners in life are not those with a perfect plan. They are the ones who took action, while everybody else was still waiting. Habit 2. Living to impress people you secretly envy. This habit is quiet, yet it is deadly. You see someone post about their vacation, or their new car, or their expensive designer shoes. You may not even like them, but suddenly you feel a need for those things too. So you begin to spend. You use your credit card. You borrow money. You fill your life with items you do not need, all to impress people you do not respect. This is how the majority of people stay poor. Their goal is not freedom. Their goal is validation. And validation is a very expensive goal. You can see people with the newest iPhone, but they have zero savings. You see people in designer clothes, but their credit cards are completely maxed out. They celebrate on the weekends, but they feel overwhelmed with anxiety on Mondays. Why does this happen? They are building an IMAGE, not a life. Here is a painful piece of truth. Each time you spend money to impress others, you are stealing from your own future self. Let me share an example. Sarah was 26 and had a job in marketing. Her coworkers were always showing off, so she began spending more to keep up. A luxury purse, designer high heels, expensive dinners. She appeared wealthy on the outside, but her bank account revealed the true situation. Then one day, she was laid off from her company. She had no savings, no emergency fund, no alternate plan. She only had regrets. Do you know what is more painful than being broke? Being broke and realizing you caused it. You did it to impress people who would not even give you $10. So quit playing the image game. The objective is not to appear rich. The objective is to be free. Freedom is not gained by showing off. It is gained by making sacrifices now so you will never have to beg later on. Habit 3. Escaping with entertainment, not building with discipline. Let us be completely honest here. Most people are not poor due to a lack of opportunities. They are poor because potential is drowned in distractions. They make excuses. I feel too tired after my job. I need something that will relax me. I will only watch one episode. One episode turns into 3. A quick scroll becomes 3 hours. YouTube, Netflix, social media, video games. It all seems harmless at first, until you see that it has cost you years of your life. But most people fail to grasp this concept. Entertainment is not the problem. Addiction to escape is the problem. There is nothing bad about watching a movie. But if your dreams are fading away, and you are watching others live their dreams, you are not relaxing. You are escaping, and the price for that is huge. Here is the truth nobody wants to admit. The gap between rich and poor is not talent. It is their use of time. Wealthy people do not waste evenings on endless entertainment. They read books, they learn new things. They practice skills, they build. They do this even when they feel tired, especially when they feel tired. This is not because they are like robots. It is because they understand a single truth. Short-term discomfort creates long-term freedom. And here is the frightening part. Most people believe they are just resting, but they are actually forming a habit of avoidance. Every time comfort is chosen over growth, you are reinforcing your own weakness. You do not need more energy. You do not need more motivation. You need to understand something. Entertainment is postponing your personal evolution. Start by replacing just 30 minutes of distraction. Replace it with a productive activity. Not because it is enjoyable, but because your future depends on it. No one becomes successful by accident. You can either waste your nights or you can rise with them. Habit 4. Being emotionally addicted to a paycheck. This one is painful because it feels so normal. We are taught to get a job, work hard, get paid, stay safe. On the surface, this seems fine, but most people miss what is really happening. They are not just making money, they are becoming dependent on it. Emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, the paycheck is no longer just income. It becomes their identity. So you avoid taking risks. You avoid asking questions. You stop thinking for yourself. Because the idea of losing that monthly comfort is terrifying. And this is what happens next. You begin to accept being underpaid, or overworked, or disrespected, or being stuck. Because as long as that salary comes in, you feel secure. But is that true security? Or is it just controlled survival? Most poor and middle-class people never see this. A paycheck does not equal security. It is just a pause between two different fears. The fear of not having enough money and the fear of leaving what you know. The system is not designed for your freedom. It is designed to make you reliable and quiet and obedient and dependent. The more emotionally connected you are to that monthly pay, the less you will try to build something for yourself. Let us be very clear. A job is not a bad thing, but when that job turns into a mental jail, when you lose the will to create, when you stop building things outside of it, you have traded your life for simple survival. People who achieve freedom do things differently. They begin a project on the side. They read. They sell something. They create content, even if it starts small and messy. They understand that real freedom exists. It is when your income is not based on permission. If you must ask for a raise, if you must beg for a bonus, if you must wait 30 days for payment, you are not wealthy. You are stuck. Start building something, even if it earns nothing at first, even if you have no support, even if it takes years to grow, because one day that small effort could become your freedom. Habit 5. Thinking like a consumer instead of a creator. This is one of the most dangerous and unseen habits. It keeps people poor because it feels completely normal. It seems harmless. You receive your salary. Your first thought is, what can I buy? You scroll on your phone. You think, what is popular now? What is the next thing I need? Your entire mind is trained to consume, and that is exactly what they want you to think. Society conditions you to buy more than you build, to spend more than you save, to desire more than you create. You become the product. You become the target. You become the trap. Just look around you. Everything you see is made to encourage consumption, not creation, not independence, not freedom. The poor and middle class are caught in this loop. Earn money, spend it, be entertained, then repeat. And the more that they consume, the less they actually build. The less they build, the less they can earn. The less they earn, the more they seek pleasure. This cycle continues until their life is over. But wealthy people behave differently. They think like producers, not consumers. They ask, what can I create, sell, or provide of value? They build businesses, skills, and content. They create solutions, products, and impact. And this is why money flows to them. They do not wait around hoping for a raise. They do not depend on sales or discounts. They are in control of the value. And when you control value, you control your income. Poor people try to appear rich. Rich people try to build wealth. You can sense this difference in their thinking. The consumer mindset says, I really need this. The creator mindset asks, can I learn this? Can I sell this? Can I build this? One of these mindsets will keep you broke. The other one will set you free. Start to make the shift, even if it is a small change, even if you are unsure how to start. Begin asking, what can I create today of value to others? Because once your identity shifts from consumer to creator, your life will never be the same again. Habit 6. Avoiding financial responsibility and blaming others. This habit is silent, but it is everywhere. You hear people say things like this. The government is corrupt. My parents did not teach me about money. The economy is broken. Rich people are greedy. It is not my fault that I am poor. And perhaps some of these statements are true. Maybe you grew up in a tough situation. Maybe you received no financial education. Maybe the system is genuinely unfair. But here is the difficult truth. None of that changes a simple fact. Your financial life is still your responsibility. Life is not always fair, but it is still your life. The longer you spend blaming others, the longer you will remain stuck. Blame provides short-term comfort. It helps protect your ego. It allows you to feel like a victim. It gives you a target to point at. But here is the great danger. When you assign blame, you also give away your power. And once your power is given away, you have already lost. Think about it this way. If your money problems are someone else's fault, then you believe the solution is also in their hands. That is the exact belief that keeps people poor forever. But when you say, this is on me, I may not have made this problem, but I will make the solution. That is when the entire game changes. Because now you are in control. You begin to learn, you start budgeting, you start saving, investing, and growing. You stop waiting for someone to help you. You become your own help. Yes, the situation might be difficult for you, but when you stop blaming and start building, you become unstoppable. Because wealth is not only about money, it is about ownership, and those who take ownership will eventually take control. It is not your fault if you are born into poverty. You did not make that choice. But if you die in poverty, that is on you, because you now have time. You have the internet. You have knowledge. You have every tool your ancestors could have wanted. So if you remain broke, stuck, and small, it is not because of your birth. It is because you abandoned your own fight. Do not let excuses outlive your potential. Do not die with nothing when you are born with the power to create everything. Habit 7. Never investing in your mind. This habit is invisible and tragic. People spend many years chasing after money, but they fail to upgrade the one tool that creates it, their own brain. Consider this. People spend thousands on a phone. They spend hundreds on new clothes. They spend endless hours watching shows or scrolling. But they will not spend 1 hour to read a book, or a few minutes listening to something educational, or any energy learning about investing, business, or skills. And then they ask why their life never changes. Here is a truth people do not like to hear. Your income can never grow larger than your mind. Because money is not just a reward for effort. It is a reward for understanding. You do not get rich from harder work. You get rich from smarter thinking. And that process starts with learning. But most people do not read. They do not study. They do not grow. It is not because they are unable. It is because they are addicted to comfort. They say, I already know that, or this is boring, or it does not matter, or I will learn that later. Later almost always becomes never, and I know enough is the lie that ruins it all. Ask yourself a question. When did you last finish a book about money? When did you watch a documentary instead of a TV drama? When did you invest in learning a new skill instead of just buying a new thing? The people who escape poverty are not the luckiest. They are the most curious. They are obsessed with learning. They study, they listen, they grow each and every day because they understand the simple fact, if I can upgrade my mind, I can upgrade my income. And no one can ever take that from me. Do you want to be rich? Then invest in your mind more than your image. Because your brain, not your bank, is your true net worth. Habit 8. Being surrounded by people who think small. Let us be honest. You might have very big dreams. You might have enormous potential. But if you are always around people who think small, and talk small, and live small, your potential will slowly shrink until it is gone, because your environment is not neutral. It is actively shaping you every single day. Most people are not even aware of it, but they are slowly becoming copies of their closest friends. If your friends complain about work all the time, if they blame others for their problems, if they never read, build, or grow, if they laugh at the idea of doing more or being more, then guess what will happen? No matter how ambitious you feel, you will begin to think just like them. Because humans are designed to adapt. And in the wrong environment, that instinct is a prison. You will start to lower your personal standards. You will talk like them. You will spend like them. You will think success is impossible for people like you. And that is how your future is silently killed by the people you trust the most. This does not mean you must abandon every friend, but it does mean this. You must guard your mental space fiercely. Your life truly depends on it. If you are the smartest and most driven in your circle, you are in the wrong circle. You need people who will push you. You need conversations that will stretch you. You need relationships that challenge your comfort and force you to become better. 1 hour with the right person can change your mindset. More than 10 years with the wrong one. So look around you very closely. Your circle is either your cage or your catalyst. You must choose wisely. Habit 9. Always looking for the shortcut instead of respecting the process. This one is dangerous in today's world. Everything now is fast. Fast food, fast delivery, and fast fame. So people now expect fast success as well. They want to be rich without any learning. They want to grow without any struggle. They want to win without any failure. They want success without any sacrifice. They chase after hacks and secret tricks. They believe promises to get rich quickly. And when they do not see fast results, they quit. Here is the simple truth. If your dream is real, it will require time. If your dream is big, it will break you before it builds you. But most people do not want to hear that because they do not want the process. They just want the result. They want the income, not the years of hard practice. They want the lifestyle, not the daily discipline. They want the freedom, but they run away from the work, and this is why they remain poor. Shortcuts feel good at first, but they will cost you much more in the end. Think of it like this. You can spend 3 years building something real, something that will pay you forever. Or you can spend 10 years jumping between ideas, quitting whenever things get difficult, and you will end up with nothing. Because each time you quit and restart, you are losing your momentum. You are losing your growth. You are losing trust in yourself. Rich people have respect for the process. They are not seeking the fastest way. They are seeking the way that actually works, even if it is slow, even if it is difficult, even if it is lonely. Because they understand one thing. You do not get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Over time, through pain, and with patience. If you want to be rich, do not rush the outcome. Fall in love with the work, with the daily grind, with the struggle, with the process. Because in the end, it is the process itself that makes you strong enough to handle success when it comes. Habit 10. Celebrating too early and too often. This habit is subtle, but it is deadly. You begin a small side business. You make a little bit of progress. You achieve a small victory, and what do most people do? They celebrate as if they have already won. They take a break from their work. They spend the small amount they have earned. They relax much too soon. They lose all of their momentum. They mistake starting for succeeding, and their celebrations stop them from moving forward. But here is the truth. The moment you believe you have succeeded, you have already begun to fall, because success is not a single moment. It is a consistent pattern. And that pattern ends when each step is treated as the end. True winners celebrate privately. They do not share every single move they make. They do not need validation or applause. They do not pause to show off their progress. They just keep going. They remain focused. They understand early celebration destroys momentum. Think about this. A plane takes off and stops climbing midway because it feels it is high enough. What would happen? It would crash. Success is exactly the same. The beginning is not the destination. The first sale is not financial freedom. The first $1,000 is not true wealth. It is only the start. And if you stop there, you will lose everything. Let your success grow quietly. Let your wins create momentum, not distraction. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to keep going. Because the moment you stop too early is the moment you lose everything you were building. Habit 11. Ignoring where your money goes. Most people do not actually need more money. They need to stop losing the money they have already. But this is very common. People have no idea where their money is spent. They earn it. They spend it. Then they check their account at the end of the month, and they ask, where did it all go? Quote, this is like bleeding without seeing the cut. And here is why this is so dangerous. It is not the large expenses that ruin most people. It is the invisible leaks. A little extra spending here, a subscription you forgot about, a dinner that was not planned. Impulse purchases seem small but add up quickly, and each month the same pattern repeats. But because the pain is not immediate, people do not treat it seriously. There is no alarm bell that rings. There is no warning sign. just a slow financial decline. You must understand this. You cannot grow what you do not measure. You cannot master what you do not track. If you are unaware of how much you earn, or how much you keep, or where each dollar is going, then you are not managing your money. You are simply reacting to it. Wealth does not come from your earnings. It comes from what you keep and control. And you cannot control what you will not face. Imagine your money is a business. If a business does not know where its cash is going, how long would it be able to survive? Not very long. So why do people treat their finances like a mystery? Because deep down, they are afraid of the truth. They prefer not to look at their spending. Because if they saw it, they would need to change it. But change always starts with truth. Start tracking every single expense. Not just one time, but always. Not because it is enjoyable, but because your freedom is hidden in those numbers. Habit 12. Being too proud to start small. This habit is silent but extremely deadly. You have a specific goal. You have a dream you want to achieve. But you want to begin in a big way. You want to start off looking impressive. You want to seem successful from the very first day. And if you cannot, you do not start ATLL. This is how people stay poor. They mix up starting small with being small. They confuse humility with failure. They are more concerned with appearances than with growth. But this is the reality. Every great empire begins with invisible work. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story looks silly at the start. People want to write a book, but they will not write the very first page. They want to launch a business, but they will not sell a single product. They want to invest money, but they will not even open an account. Why is this? Because they fear being seen at the beginning. They want the glory, but not the grind. They want the applause, but not the silence. They want the destination, not the journey. But if you are too proud to seem like a beginner, you will never become the expert. Poor people allow their ego to block their actions. Rich people accept the humility of starting small, of failing in public, and of learning out loud. They know that the faster you are willing to seem foolish, the faster you will actually grow. Pride will tell you this. If you cannot do it big, do not do it at all. Discipline whispers something else. Start small. Stay consistent. The world can catch up later. The world does not respect what you start big. It respects what you never quit. Habit 13. Living in the past or the future, but never the present. This habit is subtle, but it destroys everything. So many people are living in one of two places, regretting what they failed to do, or dreaming about what they might do. They say things like, "If only I had started 5 years ago. One day I am going to launch that business. I really wish I had taken that risk. I am just waiting for the right moment." And while they exist in memories or in fantasies, the present moment is completely wasted. They fail to realize that wealth is not built in the past, and it is not built in the future. It is only built in the present. The only time you can act is now. The only time you can learn, change, or grow is now. But most people are mentally somewhere else. They let guilt consume their focus, or they let fantasy provide false comfort. And the cost of this is brutal. They miss the only opportunity that is real. Today, time is the one currency you cannot get back. You can recover from your mistakes. You can earn more money. You can fix relationships. But you can never recover a wasted year. You can never buy back wasted time. And the more you ignore the present, the more your future will resemble your past. That is the true danger. You cannot build wealth with one day. You cannot fix regret by replaying it. You fix it by taking action now. What is one small step you can take today, not next week? Something your future self will appreciate. Do that, because the past is just a chapter. The future is just a hope. But today is your only chance, and most people waste it every single day. Habit 14, being afraid of looking stupid. This is it, the final habit. It kills more dreams than failure ever could. The problem is not laziness. It is not intelligence. It is not money. The problem is ego. Specifically, it is the fear of looking stupid, the fear of being seen while trying, the fear of others seeing you fail or struggle or ask questions. And this fear controls everything. People say, I want to start a business, but they are afraid someone might laugh if it fails. I want to learn about investing, but they are afraid to ask simple questions. I want to create content, but they worry that people will make fun of them. I want to learn a new skill, but they do not want to be seen as a beginner. So what is the result of this? They remain quiet. They remain safe. They remain average. And they protect their pride while sacrificing their future. But here is the simple truth. No one ever became great by always looking smart. In fact, the biggest winners are often the ones who looked foolish. Right at the beginning, they stumble, they ask dumb questions, they face judgment, they look awkward, they feel uncomfortable. But they do it anyway, because they know something that most people do not. Looking stupid for a few months is better than being broke for a lifetime. You can protect your image, or you can build your empire. You cannot do both. And the real tragedy is this. Most people already know what to do. They know they should learn. They know they should try. They know they need to show up, speak up, and start. But they fear judgment more than they fear poverty. That is the brutal, honest truth. They value someone's opinion over their own potential. And that is how dreams die. Not with a loud crash, but with a quiet decision. I would rather be accepted than be free. You must destroy that habit. You must stop living for the approval of others. You must become comfortable with looking awkward. You must begin, even if you feel unprepared. You must speak, even if your voice is shaking. Because every master once looked like a fool. Every winner once looked like a mess. Every success story started with someone brave enough to be uncomfortable. This is not optional. This is the price. The people who rise are the ones who are willing to look stupid long enough to become brilliant. So the question for you is this: will you protect your pride, or will you build your future? Because you do not get to have both. You have now seen the truth, not the sugar-coated advice, not the fake motivational sayings, but the real, painful, life-altering truth. These 14 habits are not random. They are not optional. They are the exact patterns keeping people broke and stuck. And here is what is important now. What will you do with this truth? Because most people will watch a video like this. They will nod their head. They will say, "That is very deep." They will say, "That is so true." And then they will scroll to the next video. They will go right back to their old habits. But if you want to be different, if you want to be the one to break the cycle, then you do not just watch this video. You live it. You apply it. You write it down. You act on it. You become the person who makes poverty afraid. Understand this. You do not need anyone's permission. You do not need any more time. You do not need any more motivation. You just need one decision. I will no longer take part in my own destruction. Say it to yourself. Say it out loud. Because the moment you accept full responsibility, everything will begin to change. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are just one decision away from becoming who you were meant to be.